First, you suffer. Then you awaken. And only then do you begin to ascend. This profound sequence, seemingly paradoxical, holds a fundamental truth about the human spiritual journey. It strikes at the very core of our conventional understanding of pain, inviting us to reconsider its role in our lives. Strange, isn't it? That the very experiences we instinctively recoil from, the moments of deepest anguish and despair, are not, in fact, a divine punishment or a cosmic oversight. Instead, pain serves as a summons. It is a relentless, insistent knock on the inner door of our being, a resonant call that echoes through the depths of our consciousness, whispering, or sometimes shouting, a singular, urgent message: wake up. But this awakening is not merely to the external world, with its fleeting pleasures and endless distractions. It is a far more intimate and profound awakening, an awakening to yourself. The nature of this suffering can take myriad forms, each capable of shaking us to our core. It might manifest as acute physical pain, a chronic illness that forces us to confront our mortality and the limits of our physical form. It could be the searing emotional pain of heartbreak, betrayal, or profound loss, tearing at the fabric of our relationships and leaving us feeling raw and vulnerable. Perhaps it is the existential dread of meaninglessness, the gnawing anxiety of an unfulfilled life, or the quiet despair of living out of alignment with our true purpose. Whatever its guise, suffering possesses an unparalleled power to disrupt our complacency, dismantle our carefully constructed illusions, and shatter the comfortable yet often confining narratives we hold about ourselves and the world. It is in these moments of profound discomfort that our usual coping mechanisms fail, our distractions lose their allure, and we are forced, often unwillingly, into a state of raw introspection. This forced introspection is the beginning of the summons, the initial tremor that signals a deeper shift is underway. It is the universe, or perhaps our own soul, demanding our full, undivided attention, urging us to look beyond the superficial and delve into the depths of our inner landscape. You see, suffering shakes the very foundation of who you think you are, with an almost surgical precision, for a singular, sacred purpose, so that you may discover who you truly are. The who you think you are is often a meticulously crafted edifice built upon external validation, societal expectations, inherited beliefs, past traumas, and a collection of roles we play to navigate the world. This is the egoic self, a necessary construct for functioning in material reality, but one that can become a prison when mistaken for our entire identity. It is the story we tell ourselves about ourselves, a narrative woven from achievements and failures, relationships and rejections, triumphs and wounds. When suffering arrives, it doesn't just challenge this story, it often demolishes it. It strips away the layers of pretense, the masks we wear, and the defenses we've erected, leaving us exposed and vulnerable. In this raw state, with the familiar foundations crumbling, we are compelled to look beyond the superficial and confront the deeper, more authentic essence that remains when everything else is stripped away. And when that veil lifts, when the illusions of the egoic self begin to dissipate, something truly extraordinary happens. This is the pivotal moment of transition, the very essence of awakening. You cease to be defined by your past hurts, your perceived inadequacies, or the injustices you've endured. You stop identifying with the wound, the trauma, the pain, the victimhood that once seemed to define your very existence. The narrative of "I am broken because of what happened to me" begins to lose its grip. Instead, a profound shift occurs. You begin identifying with the witness. This is the conscious, observing aspect of your being, the part of you that can perceive thoughts, emotions, and sensations without being consumed by them. It is the unchanging, eternal awareness that stands apart from the transient experiences of life. The wound is still there, perhaps, as a memory or a sensation, but it no longer holds you captive. You are no longer the pain, you are the one who observes the pain. This detachment, this spaciousness, is not indifference or avoidance, it is liberation. It is the recognition that your true self is vast, whole, and untouched by the fleeting dramas of the ego. This is the profound shift from being the story to being the consciousness that observes the story. It is the realization that your essence is not defined by external circumstances or past events, but by the pure, unconditioned awareness that resides within. From this vantage point of awakened awareness, ascension isn't about floating off into the clouds or escaping the realities of earthly existence. It is not a spiritual bypass that avoids the messiness of human experience in favor of an ethereal detachment. True ascension is profoundly grounded, deeply embodied, and intensely present. It is about returning fully to the present moment, but with a radically transformed relationship to it. This return is not a passive acceptance of what is, but an active, conscious engagement with life, free from the heavy burdens that once weighed us down. To be unburdened by the past means more than simply forgetting past events. It involves a deep process of releasing old narratives, forgiving ourselves and others, and detaching from the emotional charge of what has been. It means understanding that the past, while formative, does not dictate the present or limit the future. The emotional residues of old hurts, regrets, and resentments are consciously acknowledged, processed, and then released, allowing for a lightness of being that was previously unimaginable. This liberation from the past allows for a fresh, open approach to each new moment, uncolored by historical grievances or unfulfilled expectations. To be undistracted by illusion means developing a keen discernment between what is real and what is merely a construct of the ego or societal conditioning. This involves recognizing the pervasive nature of external validation, material pursuits, and superficial appearances as distractions from our true spiritual path. It means seeing through the myriad ways the ego attempts to define us through external achievements or possessions. This stage of ascension cultivates an inner clarity that cuts through the noise of the world, allowing us to focus on what truly matters, our inner truth, our authentic expression, and our connection to the divine. We become less swayed by fleeting trends, less entangled in drama, and more attuned to the subtle whispers of our soul. To be unmoved by the ego's hunger for control is perhaps one of the most challenging yet liberating aspects of ascension. The ego, by its very nature, craves certainty, predictability, and dominance. It seeks to control outcomes, manipulate circumstances, and dictate the behavior of others to feel safe and significant. This hunger for control often manifests as anxiety, fear, resistance to change, and an inability to surrender to the natural flow of life. In ascension, we learn to observe this egoic impulse without being consumed by it. We recognize that true power lies not in external control, but in inner alignment and surrender to a higher wisdom. This doesn't mean becoming passive, it means acting from a place of trust and intuition, rather than fear-driven manipulation. We learn to navigate life's uncertainties with grace, knowing that we are supported by a force far greater than our individual will. The need to be right or to dominate conversations fades, replaced by a genuine curiosity and openness to diverse perspectives. In this elevated state, you truly begin to live as the soul, not the story. The story is the limited, often painful narrative that the ego constructs based on past experiences and perceived limitations. It is the identity of victimhood, inadequacy, or even inflated self-importance. It is the sum total of our conditioned responses and learned behaviors. The soul, on the other hand, is your timeless essence, your true nature, the divine spark that is eternal, whole, and perfect. It is the unconditioned, boundless aspect of your being, connected to the universal consciousness. Living as the soul means operating from a place of authenticity, integrity, and unconditional love. It means allowing your actions to be guided by intuition and inner wisdom, rather than by external pressures or egoic desires. This shift manifests as a profound sense of purpose, a natural flow in daily life, and an unshakable inner peace that transcends external circumstances. When you live as the soul, you are no longer defined by your job title, your relationship status, or your material possessions. You are defined by your inherent divinity and your capacity for love and creation. And in this profound realization, you come to understand a truth that radically reframes your entire past. The pain didn't break you. It built the staircase. Every tear shed, every challenge faced, every moment of despair endured was not a sign of weakness or failure. Instead, each instance of suffering served as a foundational step, a meticulously crafted riser in the grand staircase of your spiritual evolution. The resilience you cultivated in overcoming adversity, the compassion you developed through understanding your own suffering, the wisdom you gained from navigating complex emotional landscapes, these are the very materials from which this staircase is built. Each wound, when embraced and integrated rather than resisted or denied, becomes a source of strength, a testament to your indomitable spirit. This staircase is not external, it is an internal architecture of consciousness, a pathway leading ever upward into higher states of being. It is forged from the fires of purification, tempered by the waters of emotion, and solidified by the unwavering will to transcend. Now, with each conscious breath, with each moment of present awareness, you're rising. This rising is not a physical ascent but a spiritual one. It is an expansion of consciousness, a deepening of connection, and an embodiment of your true, divine nature. It is characterized by an increasing sense of inner peace, a profound clarity that cuts through confusion, and an expanded capacity for love and compassion for yourself and all beings. You rise above the petty dramas of the ego, the illusions of separation, and the limitations of the material world, not by escaping them, but by seeing them for what they truly are. You are ascending into a state of greater freedom, joy, and authentic self-expression, living fully as the magnificent soul you were always meant to be. This journey, initiated by suffering, cultivated through awakening, and sustained by conscious presence, is the ultimate path to liberation and self-realization.